committee, so please proceed.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and distinguished members of this committee. You know, being the CEO of REI is a pretty darn great job, and I want to add my thanks to my 11,000 colleagues at REI for the hard work that they've done to bring the outdoors into people's everyday lives, whether close to home or far away. But there's no role that compares to serving my country. And so I'm honored and very thankful to President Obama for nominating me for this position to be Secretary of the Interior, and it is with deep humility I acknowledge the scale and the duties entrusted to this office. Growing up around Seattle, my earliest memories were of exploring the forests and the national parks of our region, Mount Rainier, Olympic National Park, Crater Lake, and I was hooked on the outdoors, and I have been ever since. So my children will tell you that we spend a lot of time outside together. My friends will tell you that any opportunity I have, I invite them with me into the outdoors. And Senators, I hope that we too can enjoy some time in the outdoors, perhaps in your states, over the course of our time working together if I'm confirmed for this position. The crown jewels of our nation are our parks, forests, deserts, rivers, and seashores. They're the places that tell the stories of our diverse history, our struggle, our triumph, and our tragedy. And it's through the wisdom of many Congresses and presidents that we've protected and celebrated these assets, recognizing their deep and enduring value. Public lands are also huge economic engines. Through energy development, through grazing, logging, tourism, and outdoor recreation, our lands and waters power our economy and create jobs. Balance is absolutely critical. Our public lands and our waters have to be managed wisely. If confirmed for this position, I will use the best science available to harness their economic potential, preserving their multiple uses for current generations and future generations. So to give you a quick summary of my background, as was noted in the introductions, I began my career early on in oil and gas. And actually, before I graduated from college, it turns out Senator Murkowski and I have something in common, which is we worked on elements of the Alaska pipeline in the mid-'70s. I graduated with a degree in mechanical engineering and went to work for Mobil Oil as a petroleum engineer, working first in some of the oldest oil fields in our country, squeezing the last barrel of production out of some of those older wells, and then moved to Denver, where I was in a position to see the economics of oil and gas from do you do the wildcat in Alaska, do you do the steam flood in Bakersfield, and how do you prioritize your resources? Now, technology has certainly advanced since that time, along with a better understanding of the environmental impacts of what we do. But the tug of the Northwest was strong for me, and so I chose to move back to Seattle. Warren and I wanted to have a family close to family. So I took the first job opportunity I got, which was to become a natural resources expert for a local bank. And that was a time when oil and gas was booming, and many other industries were not. So for 19 years, I applied my skills, learned as an engineer, to natural resource banking, to working with Indian tribes. I was lead banker for NANA, which is a native corporation based in Kotzebue, Alaska, north of Nome and the Arctic Circle. I worked with farmers and ranchers, manufacturers, real estate developers, mining companies, and certainly those involved in every element of natural resources. One thing that I learned in my journey through 19 years of banking is that I have a deep appreciation for the creativity, the entrepreneurship, and the commitment of our nation's business people, not only to economic development, but also to the support and development of their communities and the care of their environment. The Department of the Interior has many challenges, as have been expressed in the introductions, but also many opportunities to address them. And the decisions that we make have the potential to shape our country for years to come. On energy, I have a commitment to the President's all-of-the-above energy strategy, increasing our nation's production on both traditional and renewable sources of energy on our public lands, implementing innovative technologies and new frontiers, both onshore and offshore, to encourage both safe and responsible development of our resources. I also understand as a business person, it's important to bring certainty and clarity to industry. Industry doesn't mind the rules, they just want to know what the rules are, and they want predictability as they make investments that will power our future. On conservation, preserving our lands, waters, and wildlife, define us as a people, and help make this place, America the Beautiful. There's a generation of children growing up with a disconnect from nature. Kaiser Family Foundation did a study saying on average children spend 53 hours a week in front of a screen of some sort, and in other studies only 30 minutes a week in unstructured outside play. I know that the Department of Interior has an important role to play, along with neighborhood parks to the vast lands of the BLM, perhaps leaning into the centennial of our National Park Service, which will occur in 2016, to ensure that our open spaces, trails, and parks are both accessible and relevant to all people from all backgrounds. On climate change, the President has made it clear that climate change is an important issue for our nation. We've experienced storms, wildfires, droughts, and floods. And if confirmed for this position, I look forward to tapping the vast scientific resources of the Department of the Interior, like the U.S. Geological Survey, the Fish and Wildlife Service, the Bureau of Reclamation, and also other agencies of the federal government to understand and prepare for the impacts of climate change. If confirmed as Secretary of the Interior, I pledge to abide and uphold the principles of transparency and integrity that have defined me throughout my business career, to uphold our sacred trust responsibilities to American Indians and Alaska Natives, continuing the nation-to-nation relationship that has been so important for us to maintain with Indian country. I will support the unique needs of our insular areas, whether they're in the Pacific or the Caribbean, and commit to making wise decisions about the use and conservation of the resources with which we have been so blessed in this country of ours. I'll look forward to working with this committee, with Congress, and with stakeholders to bring my business background to bear in implementing the common sense solutions to these complex challenges. So, Mr. Chairman and distinguished members of this committee, I humbly submit to you that I'm ready to take up this challenge, and I look forward to taking your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Jewell. As you can